What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and this Saturday, the UFC is back in Paris, and it's a really good card. Like, there was one fight that got canceled. It was Patricio Pitbull versus Losan Keta, but it is what it is. It's still a great card, but I'm gonna give you guys my predictions for all the fight on the main card, starting with Axel Sola versus Rhys McGee, and I'm gonna go with Axel Sola. I think he's like a really solid fighter. He's a good southpaw. He does a really good job of mixing it up too. He's got great wrestling, and I think he's gonna be able to piece up Rhys McGee here in his UFC debut and get himself a decision victory. But then we got Borralho Oki taking on Mason Jones, and I think Borralho OG is gonna get this done by, I think he's gonna get a TKO here in round 3. I felt like he's won all his UFC fights on the feet. I mean, even against Chris Duncan, when he got choked out, he was piecing him up on the feet, and he made a mistake by engaging in the grappling. But he, like, all his fights, like, he's been taking on featherweights as well, and those guys are faster. They're maybe a little bit more technical than the lightweights, so that's giving him an advantage. And Jeremy Stevens was giving problems on the feet to Mason Jones at times in that fight, and he resorted to grappling. And I feel like in this one, he's fighting a fighter who's in his prime, who's been focusing on mixed martial arts, and I think he's going to get stopped or TKO'd here in round 3. And then we've got Paul Craig taking on Modestas Bosques, and I'm going to go with Modestas on this one. I feel like he's on a good winning streak right now. He's a far better striker than Paul Craig, and he knows what Paul Craig is going to do. Paul Craig fights everybody the same way. He's going to look to pull guard and submit them on there, but he doesn't have anything on the feet. And I think he's going to get stopped here in the second round. Like, he should have won his last fight, Paul Craig, but his opponent thought he was auditioning for a movie in Hollywood. He didn't get the part, though, but yeah, I think Paul Craig is going to get stopped and dropped in the second round. And then in the co-main event, we got Mauricio Shogun Rufy taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. And I want to say Rufy is going to win this fight, but I have a feeling that BSD is going to win. I have a feeling that BSD is going to be the first one to beat him. But I think I'm going to go with what I think on paper should happen, and that's Mauricio Rufy winning this fight by decision. I think he is going to put on an exciting performance and show his skills, because I think he's a far better striker. His grappling hasn't been really tested yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does. But he does train with some high-level guys, and he's been wanting to fight Benoit Saint-Denis for a while now. He called him out after his fight in November last year. So he's been preparing for that fight, and I think he's going to be ready for the grappling of Benoit Saint-Denis. And BSG in his last fight, his striking didn't really look like it changed. He's still very hittable, and I think he's a little bit chinny, so I think he'll definitely get dropped, but I don't know if he'll get stopped because of his grappling. But moving on to the main event, we got Nasruddin Imavov taking on Caio Borralho, and I'm going to go with Nasruddin Imavov here. I feel like Borralho's he's in my opinion, one of the most overrated fighters in the UFC. He's definitely the most overrated fighting nerd. I mean, he's not really a finisher on the floor or on the feet. He doesn't have crazy power. He's not super fast. His fight IQ is alright. He did well against Jared Cannonier, but that was not a good version of Jared Cannonier. Cannonier took that fight on a 2 months turnaround, after getting TKO by Imavov, and that was a hard fight. That was a tough fight for Cannonier, where he took a lot of damage, and Cannonier still took Borralho to a close competitive fight, and he busted his face up. Borralho was calling out Cannonier since May of 2024, and he got it in August. While Cannonier, he fought in June, and then he comes back and fights in August, and then takes on Borralho, loses. But I feel like Imavov is in his prime right now. He just knocked out Israel Adesanya. He took out Brendan Allen, took out Jared Cannonier, and he schooled Roman Dolidze. He's been doing very well, and everyone keeps talking about the Strickland fight, but Strickland beat Israel Adesanya. Strickland he nearly beat Dricus du Plessis. Strickland knocked out Brendan Allen. I mean, Strickland is a really good fighter. I don't know why people try to use that as a way to downplay Imavov, but I think Imavov is in his prime. He's improving. He's got coaches that are just focused on him, and I feel like that's what's needed in MMA. You need coaches that just focus on you, and we've seen it with Ilya Topuria. How he's getting so good. We've seen it with Kamaru Usman. As soon as he went to train with other women, you saw leaps and bounds and improvements in his style because the coaches are just focused on that specific athlete. But in terms of the fight itself, Imavov has got some very fast hands. He's got some good power and explosiveness as well, and he can go the distance as well. He did slow down against Sean Strickland and against Brendan Allen. He was slowing down, but that was 2 high-paced fights, and he's been in there. He's been in those spots. As Borralho, he's only been the distance once. Obviously, he went the distance in 3-round fights, but in a 5-round fight, he's only done that once, and he hasn't really fought that many high-level guys, Borralho. Like, the blueprint on how to beat Jared Cannonier was already put out there. And then he had the layup of fighting Paul Craig. And, I mean, who's not going to outstrike Paul Craig? Even Bo Nickal can do that. Like, anybody can do that. And it still took him a while to get Paul Craig out of there. But, yeah, I feel like Borralho is not that good. I think he's going to get pieced up with the jab. The 1-2s of Imavov. And Imavov has a really nice front kick to the body as well that he uses to keep the distance. And he can make some really good mid-fight adjustments like he did to KO Israel Adesanya, because he was losing moments of that fight. And even against Brendan Allen, where he had taken down and control for the whole first round. And I think that experience and his skills are what's going to get him the victory this Saturday. And I think he's going to get it done by a dominant 5-round decision over Borralho. I think he's going to at least win 4 rounds, maybe even 5. And potentially get a knockdown at some point over Borralho. And then he is getting the next title shot against Khamzat Chimaev.